First act guitars have always been a polarizing presence. On one hand, their availability in the mass merchant marketplace makes them accessible to every aspiring guitarist. But that same supermarket availability has earned them a reputation as somehow being less of an instrument than their specialty retailer counterparts. A friend of mine recently found this one being thrown away, rescued it, and asked me if I could fix it. I took on the task, and I wish I would have taken pictures, but I had no plans of making a video until I played it afterwards and was impressed enough to want to share this story. Fortunately though, most of the damage was cosmetic, so I can still point that out. For starters, the headstock has a few chunks missing. It's unsightly, but doesn't affect the playability. Same for the various scuffs and dings on the body. There were two things that really were a problem though. A crack in the neck joint and a terrible smell that was like a mix of mildew and formaldehyde. It smelled like an old science lab and was probably a result of spending years in a storage unit. So before I did anything, I put some cotton balls doused with tea tree oil and cedar oil in the body for a few days to neutralize the odor and let things mellow out a bit. Before I put new strings on, the neck needed a lot of attention. The nut was surprisingly fine, but the fretboard was the grimiest I've ever seen somehow. It was so bad, I thought some of the upper frets needed leveling until I realized they were just hidden under grime. 3 Gorgomite squares luckily took care of cleaning the frets and fretboard and conditioning it as well. So besides a hole in the 17th fret, it's as good as new. It's amazing for a 13-year-old severely neglected guitar to have held up as well as this one has. At that point, I was ready to put fresh strings on. I went with custom light Martins. Since it's for a beginner, I wanted to make sure it's comfortable. I tuned it to standard as well as a step below to see how it held up with both tunings, and outside of the 6th string going a few cents flat in standard, it holds up just fine. As for that crack in the neck, it's just the finish. It didn't interfere with me adjusting the truss rod to get a straight neck and low action. The action gets impressively low too, by the way, and as you can hear, there's no buzzing. All in all, these first act guitars are special and shouldn't be written off. If you find one sitting neglected or in the trash, it's worth picking up and getting it into playing shape.